Yeah, I want to really emphasize over and over again the absolute easiest way to make these gorgeous planters, any size, any form, is with the sand fill method. Make sure to watch the video, understand how simple it is, and use it to your advantage to make this $800 planter for 30 bucks. That's how easy it is. The sand fill method is for everybody. Anyone can do it. It is simply that easy to understand, to implement, and to get these types of results. The idea with that is it's foolproof. It's the easiest way to make any type of planter. My estimation is that this will take a minimum of 2 or 3 guys to move around this way once it's made out of cement. So you can rotate it nicely, harder to lift up. Now, this planter is going to end up right here. So we don't have to move it. We're going to flip it over, get the planter out, and then flip it back. So that's the idea of this portability of making incredibly heavy products or heavy planters or rocks, is make them right where you're going to use them. And that'll save you a lot of time and energy. Cast in place, demold, and then return to the same position. So the mix we're going to use is 3-to-1. We're going to add a little bit of plasticizer and lots of polypropylene fiber. That will make this go hard very, very quickly. We're going to do our trick on top, and we're going to decorate this. So a planter this size is really high. You need to really do something a little bit to break up the monotony of the cement coming all the way up. So we're going to put a row of tiles around it. So stay tuned, watch this till the end. We're going to do all the components, and it'll be very interesting.
We're using a very fine mix. There's not very many big rocks in it. This is the plasticizer we use, Plastercrete DM by Sika. It makes the mix more pliable, more suitable for this to create a shiny surface on the planter. It also gives you a quicker high early. Here we're adding the polypropylene fiber. This is the brand Sika again. Here we're adding the Portland cement. We're mixing 3-to-1. We always stick to that mix. The mix is a little bit wetter than usual because we want the surface and the tiles we're going to be placing to be inside the mix so everything sticks well. With a mix like this, you get a nice shiny surface and less air bubbles, pinholes. So here I'm filling the bottom of the planter, and I'm aiming for 10 centimeters or minimum 4 inches. I always do this. I always vibrate the planter to get the mix to settle nicely. You need minimum 4 inches here because you're putting the sand on top. This sand, what it does is it starts the sand fill method. So having 4 to 6 inches of cement on the bottom, it will be compressed a little bit, so you need quite a thick mix on the bottom, not for the sand to poke through it. Here I'm just moving the sand off the cement layer. You want to keep your cement ring running perfectly. You don't want it basically being covered with loose gravel because it will show up on the surface. Also remember not to get anything on the waxed or oiled surface of the planter because everything shows. It doesn't matter if a leaf were to fall in here or a twig or whatever it might be, it will show up on the surface. You can use that to your advantage, by the way, by pushing twigs into the mix. Here I'm making the walls thinner. Make your hand into a fist. It's your best tool. See here how I'm fisting it in against the wall. And what happens when you're doing this is you're creating a 10 centimeter or 8 centimeter or 3 inch, 4 inch wall. And that really helps you with the reducing the weight or keeping the weight quite low by actually making the walls a lot thinner. By pushing it in, you're actually also making it more organized, the cement. The sand really does push in easily. Make sure you don't have any huge rocks in the sand that you're using to backfill with, and it'll make it a lot easier. So keep working your way up. You got to go up, up, up. Keep repeating the process, And by doing that, you can actually get up. This took us less than half an hour to get up to the right height. So it was. It's just you have to have your rhythm down, and you can get this applied very, very quickly. These planters can be made in under an hour. So just remember that you have to have a steady flow going, and having a second person will really help you a lot. And you need the steady supply of cement or concrete available to you, especially if you're dealing with 35-degree weather or 28-degree weather. This stuff will set up quite quickly, and it's harder to get a smooth surface on the surface of the plastic planter. So now we've moved up probably 2 feet, and as you can see, I'm just repeating the same process over and over again. By getting this sand to be quite compacted, you're actually helping your cause, because nothing is going to move on you, and just that's all you need to do. Fist power is the secret to this. You will get some bleed water on top of the ring. What I usually do with that is I try my best to constantly add cement so the water is actually moving away. Here we're getting ready to put the row of tiles down. It's really important to get this planter perfectly level when you are ready to apply these tiles, because if you don't have that planter level or the ring level, you are going to see, I'm leveling it off so that the tiles have a place to sit. The problem when you're doing this is you're creating a lot of bleed water. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of white cement, and I'm going to try to dry it out a bit so my tiles don't sink immensely into this material. And we're going to knock this quite heavy once the tiles go into place, so the tiles are more or less set back a little bit and buried inside the planter so they never come out again. So once you start knocking this planter when the tiles are in place, it does do a number on the tiles. It makes cement go in front of them, but that's nothing a chisel or a little bit of time couldn't clean up. And you rub it out a little bit with a rough cloth, and then your tiles will be completely exposed and shown. And it's such a beautiful feature, especially with these really tall planters, because they need to be broken up. If you have a 30-inch high, 70-centimeter high planter with no interruption, it's just way too tall to look good. So you have to sort of build in these features that really accentuate the look of the planter. These are self-made cement tiles. They are really good because cement sticks to cement the best. If these were ceramic tiles, you would probably want to coat them with a layer of cement before you put them in. With Bondex, or like a tile setting material, you'd put it on the back of the tile, and then you would glue the tiles in with the Bondex facing out, so that what happens is the cement will grab it. So by laying this out, you have to be very cautious. You want to have no cuts, so you're going to space it out in such a way that the tiles are actually whole. There's no half tile or anything like this. If you take your time and you figure it out, it works out quite easily. I've never had a problem making a perfect ring with these tiles, and you can always move the tiles in or out or tighter. See here, I need the tiles to be tighter because I can only get a 3/4 tile in. So by doing this, tightening them up, look at this, all of a sudden I'm getting really close to a full tile again. So that works really well when you plan it out in such a way that you have a little bit of flexibility. Here we go, the last tile's in. Now I have probably too much room. No, it's perfect. I'm going to move the tiles a little bit back just to space them out. I very carefully, this is probably the trickiest part of this planter, is getting the level of them correct. It is not that easy because they do sag and they do move, and you have to really pay attention. So what's interesting now is the tiles will stick like crazy to the cement that I'm going to fill in to raise this a little bit higher. So it's going to make a big difference when you know, you don't want these tiles falling out when the planter's 6 months old or whatever. You want them to stick in there forever. And the color you can always improve, add more. It's just simple red outdoor paint that's on those tiles. I like that paint because it ages really well. So here we're putting another ring of cement to go up higher, and have no worries, this will stick like crazy when we knock the outside ring of the planter. It makes such a good connection when you have a more or less of a wet mix, and the wet mix will really stick to these tiles very well. You don't have to trowel it or anything. You just need to basically get up over the tiles and then knock the, here I'm using my fist again to get it nice and thin, the walls 10 centimeters again. And you can see you're lifting everything up a little bit because you want that mix to be not in the middle of the planter. So by doing this pushing, you are basically determining and controlling the thickness of the planter. Remember that the walls are, the thicker the walls are, the heavier this beast is going to be. So you want to keep a really good control of that 10 centimeters throughout this whole climbing process with the sand and the cement. So we're going to get over top of these tiles now, and we're going to have to knock the tiles to knock the outside of the planter to get the tiles embedded in the concrete. Here we're actually going over top of the top edge of the tiles. This really embeds them really well when you do it like this. And as I said before, we're going to knock the outside edges, and that makes cement go actually in front of the tile that you have to clean up a little bit, but it really makes it the tiles embedded incredibly well. So here I'm knocking everything into place. Makes such a big difference when you knock it nicely. Those tiles get just completely encapsulated with cement. You'll see when we demold this how much cement is in front of the tiles. Yeah, it's really important to knock the entire container as you're moving up, because what happens is you're going to get a really butter, silky, smooth skin on the planter, on the plastic itself. One other thing I never said is you should lift up the cement or raise the cement equally as you're coming up, and that will help you with the sand filling as well. Make sure that you're raising it level all the way up. Makes a big difference in how you get this done. When we get to the top, we're less cautious because we would rather chisel a nice edge than basically not have cement in those places. So we're making the top edge a little bit wider, and we're going to actually chisel that out with a regular chisel the next day because it's still nice and soft. And you can make that edge look more like natural stone when you're chiseling it instead of troweling it out, and it makes a big difference. So here we've reached the very top. We have a bit too much cement. We're going to come and trowel this all out. As you can see, I'm a bit wider here because we're going to chisel it nice and clean. And you can take some cement away if you want, but we prefer to basically leave it quite wide at the very, very top because we want to have the room to make a nice chiseled edge. So the top of the planter or the top of the plastic gives you a really nice edge to run your trowel across. By doing that, you have a lot better control of getting the top nice and clean. We're trying our best to get a little bit of bleed water on tops because we're going to sprinkle this top with white Portland cement. When you do that, the gray and the white really cause this real conflict in terms of looks, which makes it look like the planter was actually cut in half or split. Makes it look like a geode almost. It's very interesting how it changes the look by having the white cement on top. And the white also bounces off the look of the green plant material really well, and just makes the planter just that much more interesting and exciting by having this ring of white cement on the very, very, very top. There's one thing we have left to do is we like to separate the planter, the plastic container, from the cement, because sometimes it's essential to put water in there to get the planter actually to release from the plastic. So here I'm going to basically cut an edge, and this edge, what it does is it allows me to basically come back, and if I need to add water to this, I can do that, because the water will actually travel into the release agent that we put in, and the planter, because it has the plastic, because it has no holes in it, will fill up completely with water if we can get the water in there. So this edge is really important for that. And I kind of have two ways of doing it. I'll run the trowel all the way, or I'll poke it like this. And if you make it pokey like this, it looks more like a chiseled look, not so much a troweled look. And it's not hard to do. You just have to use the edge of the plastic to guide yourself. And it looks more finished when you have the edge folding over. And just makes things a lot easier when you get that separated before you release it, because you're going to have an edge left over if you don't do this, and the edge will basically go over top of the planter, and it never looks good. So you have to separate the two things, and it makes a big difference. So we're basically all done here. I'm just going to add a little bit of cement where I did the trowel marks, so then you have an edge, white edge that goes over the edge of the planter when you release it. It makes it look more believable. A lot of times this type of work is you want to make it look like something that it isn't. In this case, we're kind of making it look like it's a big white rock that was split in half. Just looks very interesting that way. If the skin on the planter is a lot rougher, then it looks even more believable. Having the smooth skin, it's a less of an effect. Okay, so the only thing left now is we have to wait for this to dry. Hopefully I'm going to leave it 1 or 2 days, and then we're going to take it out in place. We're not moving it around. We're going to demold it right here, and the planter is going to end up right here where we're going to use it.
Yeah, it's 2 days later, and we're going to demold this really big planter that we filled with the sand fill method. So the idea is we have to get all the gravel out of the middle, the sandy, stony mix, so that we can actually move this monster. It is 3 feet high and probably 2.5 feet wide, and probably 3.5 inches thick, or 10 centimeters thick. So it's going to be quite heavy to get this out of there. So we have to demold it. So we're going to flip it over and get the cement out of the plastic container. So we're going to flip this over now. We're not 100% sure that it's hard enough, but we want to do it anyways. So what we're going to do is I've cleaned out down here so there's no obstacle. So the objective is to get this on the ground so we can pull the mold off. So we're going to flip it over. I would estimate this thing to be 200 pounds. We had 4 complete wheelbarrows come out of here. So that's a lot of material from the inside, 4 wheelbarrows full. So this is a big planter. Yep. Okay. 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 Vamos. Okay, we have a row of tiles here that are hidden. We're going to free them up. and then you guys can see what it's going to look like. Okay. Y hay una línea ahí, okay? Of course, we got nowhere to go.
Well, hang on. Let me do this first. Okay. Yeah. Get your finger in there.
Yeah, got it.
Grab that side there.
Yeah. Okay, stand it up. Are we in the right spot? Not
Do
really.
we want to roll it maybe and then put it up there, or do you want it on the plastic?
Just put it there, and then I'll dig it out.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, tiene raíces extra, Laura? It's jasmine. Yeah, there's the variegated lemon. Look at the size of that fruit. This thing, it's like, I don't know, maybe 3 years old. Way better than the Meyer lemon. Okay, so there's the jasmine and the planter. Stunning. Great job.